name is Teresa MacDonald. I'm the Associate Director for Public Programs at the KU Natural History Museum and Biodiversity Institute. Today I'm sharing our clasp like a chameleon activity. Chameleons are a distinctive and highly specialized group of lizards. One of their interesting specializations are their grouped digits, or their grasping hands and feet, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. So chameleon hands, their digits are grouped together, and same in their feet, only they're grouped differently. So in their hands, digits 1, 2, and 3, or the thumb, the index or pointer, and the middle finger are grouped together, and then the ring finger and the pinky are grouped together. Now in the feet, it's a little bit different. In the feet, digits 1 and 2 are grouped together, and then the middle finger, the ring finger, and the pinky are grouped together. We're going to focus on looking at their grasping hands. What we're doing here is we're playing a game inspired by the game Twister. Now, Twister is a classic game in which you twist and turn your body to touch different colored squares on a game mat. So what we need for this activity is a pair of mitts. It can be a pair of oven mitts. It can be a pair of mittens. If you don't have any of those, you can just use tape to group your digits together to make the grasping points. Just be careful that you don't use tape that's going to hurt your fingers. You need some large object or space to serve as the game area. You want something that has lots of different ways that you can grasp it. Something that has sections that you can mark out for different colors, and I'll get to that in a minute, that you can grasp from above or below or from front or behind. I'm using a chair. Bicycle, I think, would work well if you had railings along stairs inside your house or perhaps on your porch or your deck. You also want to use some colored tape or stickers or something to mark different sections. You want to have 4 different colors, again modeled on the Twister board game, of red, blue, green, and yellow. You can use different colors if they work better for you. I didn't have any colored stickers, so I used just ordinary tape, and then I colored in different colors with colored pencils to mark the different sections. So this arm is a green, this one is a red, this leg is a blue, up there is a yellow. Now there's an option in the downloadable activity, which is a template that you can use to make your own board game if you want to do that. So there's the different colors for the right hand, and then the left hand, and then whether you grasp on top or on front, or below or behind, depending on the shape of the object that you're grabbing. And then I made a spinner just out of a piece of straw and then a toothpick. So you can use it to say, what hand do you need to move where next? So that's an option. And I did a series of spins before so that I will use that to model the game. So how you play the game is you put on your mittens to group your digits together. So if you imagine this is your hand here and this is how you normally wear your mitt, I think of it as basically wearing your mitts backwards. So you flip it around and you group these 3 digits together, okay, in the large part of the mitt, and then you group your ring finger and your pinky here. So you've got digits 1, 2, and 3 in the large part, and then 4 and 5 in the other part. And again, you want to grasp around this joint. You can put on the other one, again, the same way. You want to have 1, 2, and 3 in the large part and 4 and 5 in the other. So you want to use that to grasp the different sections and follow the model of the game. So as I said, I did a series of spins before. So I'm going to walk through those spins to model how the game is played. My first spin was with my left hand on a red part, on top or on front. And this is one of the red parts on my chair here. So I would grasp it on top like this. Then my next spin was my right hand on blue, from below or behind. And this is one of the blue sections on my game chair here. So I would grasp it behind like that. The next spin was my left hand on green, from below or behind. And so this is a green piece here, so I'm going to grasp it from below. Then my next spin was with my right hand on yellow, on top or on front. And this back piece here is yellow, so I would grasp it on the front like that. You can make it more challenging by playing with other members of your household. And that is our clasp like a chameleon activity. Now I'm going to share our act like an aye-aye activity. Aye-ayes are primates that live in Madagascar. One of the interesting features that we see in aye-ayes are their elongated digits. So they have very long middle and ring fingers on their hands. And they use this for percussive foraging. Percussive foraging is basically using sound to look for empty cavities in branches to search for food. So what we need for our activity is some paper to wrap around your fingers to make the elongated finger models, some tape and scissors to do that as well. We need a hollow paper tube. In this case, I think a paper towel tube works well. You can use a series of toilet paper rolls. You could use empty plastic tubing. Ideally something that isn't transparent, but of course if you use a soda bottle, you could cover it up. We're going to use those to make our branches. Then you need some plastic wrap and either some tape. I'm going to use some rubber bands to hold this. And then some sort of lightweight material to put inside, as well as something to look for in the hollow space. So this can be toy grubs, toy insects if you have them. I didn't have any, so I just made little paper model ones because you want something to be quite lightweight so it's not the distribution of weight that gives it away or the rattling around sound that it makes on the inside. So first we're going to make our elongated digits. So as I said, eyes have elongated middle and ring fingers, so we're going to make those. So we'll start with the middle finger, and you want to use your paper to wrap it around your finger and then use tape to make a tube, basically make a long tube. You want it to be 2, 2.5, 3 times the length of your finger. You can use paper towel tubes for this, or I like to use toilet paper tubes because you can do it in sections, and that helps to make it narrower as the finger goes down. Because if you're using paper, you want to be able to twist the ends, tape it. So one, it's quite rigid, so I can use it to tap. And also, middle fingers tend to be really quite thin as well. So that's our middle finger. Eyes also have really long ring fingers, so you want to make another one of those, but for your ring finger. So you want them to be snug, but not tight. So you want them to stay on when you're tapping with them, but you don't want them to fall off, but not too tight so that they're uncomfortable. This one can be longer than your digit that you've just made here. They tend to be longer and they tend to be quite thick, so you don't have to worry about making them as tight at the end. This is a model of my middle finger for my eye that I made before, and I used paper towel tubes and I covered it in black tape so it's nice and rigid. And this is the model of the ring finger for the eye that I made. Now we want to make our model branches. So for our model branches, we need an empty paper tube. Again, it could be some other kind of paper tube, but we want an empty paper tube. And so what we want to do is have part of it empty, that we're looking for when we're foraging, and we want to have part of it that is not empty, which is the part we wouldn't be interested in because it's not going to have anything hiding inside. So you want something lightweight. You can use tissue paper, works well. I also find if you have individually wrapped toilet paper, that paper is nice and lightweight. It could be newspaper, anything that works for you. You stuff it in, and this is about halfway through. And then you can use something to cover up the end. We suggest balloons because I think it makes a really good sound when you're tapping on it. It helps to be able to detect the sound. I'm just using a piece of plastic wrap here and a rubber band to hold it on. You can use tape, anything that works. Then you have your hollow side, and that's ultimately going to be the part that we're looking for. And once you find a hollow side, you're going to look to see if it has an insect in it. Now, I didn't have any toy insects or anything that was lightweight enough because if it's quite heavy, it'll be unbalanced. It'll be obvious which side, and you want to be able to use your sound detection skills. So I just made a little paper model of an insect. So I'm going to use this to cover up this end. Okay. Now, ideally, you can have someone mix it up or twist it around so that you don't already know which end has the insect in it. So we're now going to use percussive foraging, which is what eyes do. So I'm going to wear my middle finger and my ring finger. And then I'm going to tap on it to try and find the hollow part. The hollow part, there's a chance that there's an insect or something living inside. So I'm going to tap and listen. on what I think is the hollow side. I'm going to uncap it, and yes, that was the hollow side, and I found my little paper insect. Now, generally, aye-ayes use their middle finger for tapping on wood. Sometimes they use the ring finger, but generally it's their really long middle finger, and then they scoop them out using that really, really thin middle finger. Ring fingers, they typically use for tapping on fruits and nuts to see if they're ripe. Now, what I like to do is make it a little more challenging, and I used a series of toilet paper rolls, all nested inside each other. So I have some sections that are hollow and some sections that are not. So it makes it harder to do, and it's a greater challenge. That is our Act Like an Aye-aye activity. Thank you.